Maya civilization developed in parts of Mexico and Central America around 1500 BCE. Maya hieroglyphs were the only fully developed writing system of pre-Columbian America. These hieroglyphs were often carved into Maya stelae, which are stone monuments that celebrated individual rulers.
So here at the Penn Museum, we've got the largest collection of Maya stela anywhere outside Mexico or Central America. One of the most important monuments in our collection is Stela 14 from Piedras Negras. Both the image and the inscriptions down the sides have some very important things to tell us about Maya history. So beginning in the 1930s, the Penn Museum has been involved in excavations at Piedras Negras in Guatemala, and later at Tikal, Copan, and at Quirigua.
In 1930, the Penn Museum decided to excavate in the Maya area, and Mason was sent down to Guatemala to set up a project. J. Alden Mason was one of the last great generalist Americanist anthropologists. He worked in North, South, and Central America. He did ethnography, linguistics, archaeology, even folklore. He selected the site of Piedras Negras, which was discovered in 1895, and was known as having the best sculpture of the whole Maya area, which in Mason's estimation meant really the best sculpture in the whole of the Americas. Mason's principal task at the site was to pack up the monuments and to load them and bring them to Philadelphia. That was an incredibly difficult task. Mason writes, after the road was built, then the heavy work began. With the entire force of the ropes, the massive monuments were raised and put in their boxes, well packed with dried palm leaves. By similar means, the boxes were loaded on the wagons and secured with lumbering chains. So Mason recounts one really interesting anecdote from moving the monuments. He says, on the first bad grade at the camp, one of the heavily loaded wagons broke loose when a pole used to brake the wheels snapped. Miraculously, it turned a somersault and landed again on its wheels without damage to wagon or monument. So the cart hit a snag, it flipped 360 degrees and landed flat. Everything was fine. Once in Philadelphia, to get Stela 14 and the other monuments into the building, they had to push them through the windows on specially built wooden tracks, which were laid down to exactly where they are currently in the gallery today. After 2 seasons, Mason relinquished directorship of the excavations to his assistant Linton Satterthwaite, and he returned to the museum. Satterthwaite, in turn, in 1936, hired Tatiana Proskouriakoff to make the architectural drawings of the site. After her work at Piedras Negras, Tatiana Proskouriakoff published a book of architectural reconstructions of all major Maya cities. She then embarked on the first survey of Maya art history, and then eventually became a major influence in the decipherment of Maya hieroglyphics.
In Tatiana's day, people believed Maya cities weren't really cities. They were ceremonial centers ruled by priests. The population didn't live in the center, they were scattered around in the forest, and they might just gather together for ceremonies and rituals. The figures on Stela 14 were originally thought to be a god, and then down below a priest who's making offerings towards it. Now Tatiana started working on the chronology and the relationship between particular dates and particular images on the monuments. So the inscription of Stela 14 begins at the top, and it runs down to here, just giving a single date. And then we get to what Proskouriakoff called the event glyph. She hypothesized that this event glyph referred to someone becoming a king, which turned out to be completely correct. So thanks to Tatiana's work, we realize that the seated figure is a king, and the one standing below is a queen. So scholars today are moving on from Tatiana's insights. We're trying to understand how the language was structured. We're trying to decipher some of the unknown signs, and more importantly, we're trying to put it all together to understand ancient Maya society.